Ready to go!
Hey guys, it's what is it? What is the time? It is 10:30. Okay, not as late as it feels to me. I wanted to do a different video today, a video that I haven't done a style of in a long time, and that is I just want to kind of catch up with you guys, give you an update on a few different things, answer one question that people have been asking, and show you something pretty cool. So, pretty knackered at the moment, pretty knackered. Had the left-hand super match with Sam Burnett last night. And honestly, that was my wrist, man, it's sore. Hang on, let me go into my garage. I know it's dark at the moment, but give it a second and there we go, we're back. All right, this place is a mess right now. I don't live here often. This is kind of my place that I rent. I've been living here for like a bit over a year, but I spend the majority of my time at my fiance's house, Joanne, who you guys would have maybe picked up on a few things here and there. But anyway, this place is a mess, as you can see. Yeah, rubbish everywhere. Awesome being by Kyle Howard, other stuff. But I wanted to show you guys something really cool, and whilst I'm doing it, I might answer the question that had a lot of people ask me about in comments in the last few videos that I've released. I've done a lot of reviews on Larry's stuff, and a bunch of people want to know how I think I'd go against Larry. So I thought I'd answer that one in this video. To give the video a theme, let's give the video some actual substance rather than just me waffling on. I thought I'd give you that. But before I get to that, ready for it? Ready for the surprise? I don't know, you might have already seen it in the background. All right, here it is. Check it out. Handles. Handles. What makes these handles so significant, you ask? These are custom made handles. They're gonna be pound for pound handles. Multi-spinner. They'll all be branded by the time they're on the market. They'll be branded. Strapping will be branded. You'll see it. We got a multi-spinner. We got a I got a few alterations to be made to this, but a wrist wrench with a nice solid bar. I like this one. Standard wrist wrench, bread and butter. I love this handle. And a cuppinator. Yeah, we'll see. I use that a lot too. This one for wrist flexion. This one for finger containment. This one for pronation or supination stability. And this one for yeah, power. Not as much stability needed for this one compared to this bad boy, but they're both wrist wrenches. This one gonna be more stable. You get me lift bigger weights that one. Anyway, so that's exciting. That's the random thing. My manufacturer, these arrived today, and most importantly, they arrived. And it's at a price that we can do it. It's at a price where we can actually make it happen. So I know if you're in Australia, for instance, it's always been really hard to get handles. So in about 30 days time from today, or maybe 30 to 40 days time today, and have bucket loads of these. Probably this room's going to be probably filled with them. They'll be branded pound for pound arm wrestling. And we'll have affordable stuff here in Australia, and it'll even be affordable internationally as well. It'll be super affordable internationally. So anyway, that's the come. really soon. So Larry, how would I go against Larry? That's a good question. Larry's a really, really unique dude. I would say Larry is possibly the biggest potential in arm wrestling right now, to rapidly ascend the ranks relative to where he is right now. I think his arm wrestling potential is like Matt Musk's YouTube channel. It's just doing that. I say that because the dude's strong. No one doubts that. He's proper strong, like as strong as humans can get strong in some capacities. He's set world records, and he's proven that he can do that. So he's strong, really strong. The other thing about Larry, excuse me, is Larry is really someone who loves chasing things, chasing PRs, his business, whole brand, chasing disciplines, and proving to himself that he can get to the top of anything. And he's done that. He's doing that now in arm wrestling. He's declared it. I think like 50% of his videos on YouTube are pretty much something to do with arm wrestling. So I know when I first saw Larry's interest in the sport like a year ago, I was skeptical. I didn't think he would end up being any more interested than, say, a Juji Mufu. I thought it was going to be a flash in the pan sort of stuff, because he was interested in strongman or powerlifting or other things. But it seems like Larry has properly fallen in love with the sport. And so that is why I see that enormous exponential sort of potential. Yeah. So how do I think I'd go against Larry? It's a real sliding scale that if I pulled him today versus in 3 months versus in 6 months versus in 12 months, it's a very different answer that I'm going to give you. My trajectory is much more linear than Larry's. I've been at it for 8 years. So I don't have that spike in gains still to come that Larry is realizing. So right now, I think if I were to face Larry on the right hand, I think that I would honestly, I think I'd be too much for him in a ready go. But I don't necessarily think I'd be too much for him if we training pulled. I think if we training pulled and just gentlemen's sort of eased in to an equal amount of wrist flexion, an equal amount of shoulder carve, an equal amount of supination and pronation and height and all those things, I think if I did that with Larry, his bicep strength and wrist flexion, I think would potentially be able to outlast my pronation, drag, and side pressure from slow start. Just my guess. I say that because when I pulled with Juji Mufu, who was someone who had great fundamental strengths, when I pulled with him in a slow pulling sense, he was sticky. He was really sticky. And Larry is going to be even stickier. He's stronger than Juji. He just is. And I think he's now a better arm wrestler than Juji, considerably as well. So I think Larry in a slow pull, I think I'd be in trouble if I gentleman's initiated. I think if I started banging around, I would break down the walls of Larry. So if we eased into a slow pull, but then I could bang, if you know what I mean, if I could like start throwing my shoulder into things and hitting hard side pressure with hard transitions back to pronation and regrips and things like that, I think I'd be able to chip through. I wouldn't be able to pull through. I'd be able to chip to a position where he would be denied from his superior strength. So I think that would be an interesting way to pull. I think that ultimately, if it was a ready go, if it was a super match, I think that my experience levels at the moment, combined with just the specific strength in that little tiny denial things, and the ability to efficiently neurologically accelerate from center to a position of leverage advantage. I think I have too much of that for him at the moment. So I don't think that Larry and I would be a good match right now on the right. I don't think it would be. I think that Larry and I left and would be interesting. But Larry and I right is what I'm talking about. So I think that Larry, the reason I say all of this about Larry is I draw a lot of it from my experience with Lachlan Adair. Lachlan came to the sport really strong, already with significant strength from his powerlifting background, and yet it was super easy to hold Lachlan like a child almost in his first few weeks. But then as someone who is strong like Lachlan or like Larry starts to map out the pathways to arm wrestle, they start to rapidly become more difficult. And the window in which you as an arm wrestler can stay ahead of them in terms of confusing them, in terms of not allowing them to get the traction they need to use their full strength, that gets more narrow. And that's happened with Lachlan to the point it's got so narrow with Lachlan that the window for me, I'm still more experienced than Lachlan, for instance, but the window has become super small for me to deceive Lachlan in any given position on the table. Very, very small. So that's happening with Larry at the moment. He's going through that. He's gripping so many different people, which is awesome. He's collecting the data on all those people. Every hand he grips is another hand that his brain assimilates, and his hand starts to remember. He starts to remember how to close doors on different people, different styles, different shapes. So 6 months from now could be a totally different story. I think I would beat him right now. I think if I were to face him in May, a lot of people have said, Ryan, go and pull him in a super match undercard for Devin and Mike, which honestly, look, I would love. I just don't think it's possible. I've spoken to Mike and Larry, and they were cool. Mike was cool for me to be on the undercard as an option. So I'm grateful for that intent. It's just tricky. Like I said, Australian border laws right now are tricky. It's yeah, they're tricky. Let's just say that. Getting home is the hard part. But even if it's not May, which, like I said, I'd say 99% likely that it won't be May, there'll come a time, I'm sure, 100% sure, I'm going to meet Larry Wheels and group up with the man. And it might be, hopefully it's this year. But there's a certainty that that's going to happen. I think that he's in love with the sport. He's obviously going to be a big part of the sport from here forward. And I will definitely travel, and we'll cross paths, and we'll get the chance to group up. I think it'll be pretty cool. So, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, did that answer your question, guys? I think it did. Yeah. So, I'm tired. I don't know if you can tell. I don't sleep enough these days. I find myself up. I don't know, you guys see me on the internet still, posting things, commenting, watching live streams at sometimes like 4:30 in the morning. I don't know what it is, but some of my most productive time in terms of video editing and in terms of creating content is when everyone else in the family's gone to sleep. Kids are in bed. Joanne's in bed, and I'm just like, oh. These are the times when I can make stuff, and it's weird. I'm kind of my own worst enemy on it sometimes. I feel pretty drained right now. Mentally, I feel pretty drained. But everything's going really well. Every business is going really well. handles. Excited about them. YouTube channel's going really well. I'm definitely happy at the moment. Just tired. Other cool news is that between Australia and New Zealand, 18th of April is a date that the Australian government's announcing that they're hoping to create a travel bubble, so we can get our first taste of international travel again. And that's cool because a couple of reasons. It means I could potentially go to New Zealand for a honeymoon, getting married in May. And the other thing, arm wrestling related, means Big Mate Orangi at the Morris can either come to Brisbane, yes please man, or I can go there, train with the Auckland crew, have a super match. Be good. If Big Mate Orangi, sorry, if Big Mate Orangi comes to Brisbane, it'd be a Lachlan special for sure. Lachlan's overdue. There's no way I take his match again. Everyone wants to see him, but the possibilities are there, which is really cool. So yeah, all right guys, I'm gonna head to bed. Well, I'm gonna end the video, go edit this video, upload the video, post the video, read the comments on this video, engage with this video, and then go to bed. So it's probably 2 hours from now that I'll finally go, all right, go to sleep now, you goose. Anyway, all right guys, hope you're well, and I'll speak to you soon.
Yes, that's a man!